success no matter what their sport is. So he'll be first out of the gates in hour number 2. Sports on a Sunday morning here from the Stifel Sports Studio at Busch Stadium. I'm Joe Pott. It continues after the news on KMOX.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with the can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
Weeknights at 6, it's the Gray Bar Sports Open Line.
Do welcome you in right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley.
Matt Pauley has everything sports, from what's happening with your Cardinals.
A lot of Cardinals baseball stuff, a lot to get into.
To the sports news of the day.
Let's talk a little St. Louis Blues hockey.
Interviews and special guests.
The head coach of the St. Louis University women's basketball team.
It's all waiting for you with Matt Pauley.
It's all coming up.
The Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Weeknights at 6 on KMOX.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. Growing up in Oklahoma, I had big dreams of becoming a successful country music singer. But I also knew the odds were against me and that I needed an education to fall back on. Studying never got in the way of my dreams. In fact, school gave me lots of opportunities I wouldn't have had otherwise with my career. Please stay in school and try your best. You never know where a good education might take you. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments up to 5 years. Or if you prefer, you can get on-the-spot savings as much as $5,000. And everything's included. Exquisite diamond rings, earrings, bands, bracelets. It's our best offer of all time. You can pick a low monthly payment for up to 5 years or get instant savings up to $5,000. Don't miss this amazing offer. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
We don't want you on our team. You're too slow and fat.
This is weight bias.
Don't you care how you look?
Those with the serious disease called obesity face weight bias every day.
You're not the right fit for this job.
And blame themselves.
I wish I was different.
Weight bias hurts.
Let's stop weight bias.
Be part of the solution.
Go to stopweightbias.com. A public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
Radio stations don't have newsrooms. They have a phone, and that's their newsroom.
Dave Glover on why the KMOX News Department is different.
This is a story I'll tell like my grandkids. You're not going to believe this, but when Grandpa was on KMOX, we had dedicated people who went out and found the stories, and they verified them, and they reported them. And they'll be like, that's crazy. I'm really proud to work with these guys.
Yep. The Dave Glover Show, weekdays beginning at 1 on KMOX. KMOX KEZK HD2 St. Louis.
This is KMOX, the trusted voice of St. Louis. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Wendy Gillette in Los Angeles. Many Republican lawmakers are showing their support for former President Donald Trump after his federal indictment, including Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan on CNN.
Everyone sees this for the political operation it is.
CBS News correspondent Robert Costa on Trump's possible motivations.
Why did the former president bring these documents back to Mar-a-Lago? What was the motivation? He was angry. So much of this, as with many Trump stories, is driven by grievance and how Mark Milley in the public eye was becoming a major figure. And to counter Milley's growing public profile, Trump, in interviews with reporters and friends, he started to bring out documents to make his own case on national security, on foreign policy, to say that he was, in a sense, better than Milley, that Milley didn't know what he was doing.
Security will be very tight for Trump's first court appearance on Tuesday in Miami. Sources tell CBS News Ted Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber, died by suicide in his North Carolina prison cell. He was 81 years old. It could be a long road after a vehicle fire caused an elevated section of I-95 in Philadelphia to collapse. KYW TV's Madeline Wright.
I-95 North is collapsed. I-95 South has buckled. People are being urged to stay awake. There's a 2-block radius on both sides of the highway that is shut down right now.
A counteroffensive is underway in Ukraine. The BBC's Danny Aberhard.
Ukraine's counteroffensive is in its early stages. Many analysts believe its military is probing Russia's defences, constructed over months. The Institute for the Study of War assesses that while Ukrainian forces appear to have made some localised gains, they've struggled to break through dug-in Russian positions.
Air quality in the Northeast is much improved this weekend, but hundreds of wildfires in Canada that caused the unhealthy conditions last week are still burning. Correspondent Michael George reports.
The fight is on against more than 400 wildfires, stretching from east to west across the country, spanning 11 million acres. Hot and dry conditions are making it easy for wildfires to spread. Climatologist like Rutgers professor David Robinson says,
we're seeing snow melt off the lands earlier in the spring. That in turn helps warm things up and you get this vicious cycle going.
Legendary Yankees radio announcer John Sterling got bopped in the head with a foul ball during last night's game while he was live on the air.
Now the 3-2 swung on, a pop foul back here. Ow! 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 It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
Sterling says he's fine. This is CBS News.
Hiring is a lot easier with Indeed. Their powerful platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
those stomach issues ruined your birthday?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Australians are using goats to help reduce the risk of wildfires.
Some people see them as pests, a menace, but these days about 100 are chewing their way through massive weed overgrowth in eastern Australia to reduce the fuel that creates the potential for wildfires.
So they can work in pretty steep terrain where machinery wouldn't be able to access.
Goat herder Sandrine Rejoun, who says the method is environmentally friendly.
They also avoid using too many herbicides, which are pretty terrible.
And they eat about 2 acres of weed each week. Scott Mayman for CBS News, Canberra, Australia.
A McDonald's employee sure likes her job. Emma Britton has been working at a McDonald's near Houston for 50 years. She's 68 and jokes she'll keep going when she's 100, even if she's in a wheelchair. The owner says she's the pulse of the restaurant and a stabilizing force. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Awarded 2023 Large Market Radio Station of the Year by the Missouri Broadcasters Association, KMOX.
It is 11:05. We have cloudy conditions, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Stuart McMillan. Here's what's happening right now. A crash on I-70 eastbound at Missouri 141. This is a one-vehicle crash. It has the right lane closed, so look out for that. And if Interstate 55 is a part of your daily commute, a reminder, a big construction project is forthcoming.
Changes ahead on 55. This Wednesday night, they're going to close 2 northbound lanes overnight and then reopen one of them on Thursday morning. Thursday night, they'll close 2 southbound lanes, but they'll remain closed. These closures in effect between Lindbergh and Rivas Barracks in the newest work zone, and this work zone beginning this week will last through fall of 2024. Roger Brand, KMOX News.
In St. Louis County, a burglar on probation is accused of going back to his old ways.
47-year-old Joshua Weisler was on probation for a burglary in Richmond Heights. He pleaded guilty to that just before Christmas and got probation. Now he's accused in the June 2nd burglary at a business in Maryland Heights. It happened on Riverport Drive at an address housing a real estate office and a medical testing lab. Police say they got there and found boxes of copper piping and spools of copper wire not far from Weisler's car, the same car used in the Richmond Heights burglary. Now he is charged with 2 felony counts and being held on a $30,000 cash bond. Kevin Killeen, KMOX News.
The federal indictment of Donald Trump continues to resonate across the political landscape. KMOX analysts Hancock and Kelly talked on Total Information AM this morning about what they might mean for 2024 in the presidential election. Democrat Michael Kelly said it will keep Trump's name constantly in the headlines.
Why not? I mean, this is historic. We've never had a former president indicted. And so, yes, he's going to get the attention.
Republican John Hancock said most sitting presidents seeking re-election are judged on what's being done during their 4 years in the White House.
If this election turns out to be that, looking at the numbers, Joe Biden's going to lose. His only real hope that I can see is a head-to-head matchup against Donald Trump, where the election really won't be about Joe Biden's record. And that's regrettable if you're a Republican.
Riverbender News is reporting that an Alton man has been charged with stealing a crucifix from a church. 56-year-old Raymond Moore is charged with burglary of a crucifix and under a theft under $500 in a place of worship. The alleged theft happened at St. Mary's Catholic Church on East 4th Street in Alton in May of 2020. This afternoon, a high of 70 degrees, says AccuWeather. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm possible. Low around 55 degrees tonight, clearing and cooler. Tomorrow, 76, mostly sunny and pleasant with low humidity expected for tomorrow. Right now, 67 degrees, cloudy skies downtown at the Arch. I'm Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Billikens win! Billikens win! Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Joe Potts sitting in for Tom Ackerman this week. Stifel Sports Studio is Busch Stadium as the Cardinals get set to face the Cincinnati Reds today. It's a 1:15 first pitch at Busch Stadium here. We're praying that it stays dry and that schedule stays true. We'll find out more about that a little bit later on, probably. Right now, we'll switch gears here on Sports on a Sunday morning, and I am pleased to welcome here on this Sunday Joaquin Buckley. And tell me it's Joaquin Numanza Buckley. Is that correct?
Numanza. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Welcome to the program. Thanks for taking some time. I was saying last hour that obviously we always love to promote guys that come out of St. Louis, no matter what their sport is. You are having such success in your sport. Where did you grow up? Where did you get started? You're an MMA fighter. Where did you get started? Was that here in St. Louis too?
Yes, sir. So I grew up in St. Louis. I was born and raised here from a single mother, And so, with that being said, my mother had to keep me straight and narrow all the time, man. So she helped train me along the way when I was a little kid, because I was a little knucklehead for sure, So she put me in position, whatever, to be a fighter for sure. So, I started my MMA career with Phoenix MMA, which is still on Watson Road, to this day. A lot of young fighters come out of Phoenix MMA, and, that's where I got my start at. Yes, sir.
I have seen some of the viral knockout videos. They are unbelievable to me. I can't even fathom. First, I can't fathom how some of you guys, how you take the punches and you take the hits that you do. The particular knockout that I think a lot of people have probably seen is the, I don't even know what the move is called, that kick that you used to knock out your opponent. That's unbelievable.
I guess you can call it the butt kick, because it has never been performed before. So, there's no name for it, to be honest.
I like it.
Yep. It's the first of its kind. Yep. So if people don't know what we're talking about, you can definitely just check out my name on YouTube, and it'll be the first thing to pop up.
I mean, seriously, and I would tell all of our listeners to go find that video, because it is just absolutely unbelievable. How does that come up in the course of a fight? How does that come into your mind that I might be able to make this move and make this kick where, essentially you jumped off of one foot, he had caught your one foot and you hit him with the other?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, the way that happened and the way that even transpired, all from creativity, so, me being the only child, me being raised by my mother, I used to, watch TV a lot. So what got me into mixed martial arts was, movies, man. So, our Jean-Claude Van Damme's, Jackie Chan's, the Chuck Norris's, these people that I used to watch back in the day from these movies is what introduced me into martial arts in the first place. So all the creativity comes from, just the movies, man. So literally straight out of a movie, man. I pulled it out in reality, so that's all that was.
You're making the adjustment. You're moving up from the welterweight division, which is 170 pounds, to the middleweight at 185. What does your training look like in order to make that kind of transition, that kind of move?
My training is very tough. We train every single day. Everything that we do is all geared towards my conditioning. So I'm always working the heart. I'm always working my muscular vascular. So I'm always running hills. Wrestling is a big part of that as well, because it's one of the hardest disciplines to work on, only because it strains the muscle so much and it works the heart so much. Two guys going back and forth, trying to take each other down. And the first person to, slow down is usually the first one to lose. So, these are the things that I do in order to get myself prepared for a fight. I work high conditioning. So, I do a lot of things that pretty much, like I said, man, that you see in the movie that you wouldn't believe that people are actually doing in real life. Hey, man, that's what I try to do, man. So I'm a real life, character when it comes to this, comic book character when it comes to this. Yeah.
I said that backwards. I apologize. You're going from the middleweight down to the welterweight division. With your last win, you're moving up towards the top 15 in the welterweight division as well.
Yeah, so we trying. So, but first I got to find a fight, So, there's a lot of guys that unfortunately are not willing to take the fight, So even though I'm trying to work my way up, I'm not willing to, I'm not saying not willing, but I'm willing to go down and see anybody else that is willing to go out there and fight. So I'm willing to fight down. So, anybody that's willing to get in the cage with me, that helps me out, because at the end of the day, without them, I'm not able to do what I can do. So I can't wait on the guys in the top 15. If they're not willing to fight, that's all good. We'll find somebody else, but we're working to become a world champion one day, so I can put on for St. Louis and I can bring a UFC event back to, back here. It's going to bring a lot of eyes and bring a lot of promotion here to St. Louis that I feel like that we need.
Joaquin Buckley is with us here on Sports on a Sunday Morning. You have fought around the world, many different venues.
Yeah.
What's your dream venue? Like where in your mind, where do you want to have that big fight?
I would love to have that big fight right here in St. Louis at the MLS arena that we have, at the City Park. So that'd be so dope, to bring the UFC back and hold it at the City Park arena. I think that'd be my dream place to have it right here in St. Louis.
That would be amazing. I mean, you're talking about right in downtown in a beautiful new facility outside in the elements. I think that has that would be really cool to get that going and get that talk going. Well, Joaquin, I appreciate some time this morning. I am going to continue to let Drew educate me on your sport and how you're doing. I'm going to follow along, and we're going to keep tabs on you, and we're going to do this again as we go down the road as well.
Yes, sir, man. We got a lot coming forward, and I just can't wait, to see what the future brings, especially for St. Louis and the City Park Arena that I'm talking about. So I believe that we can bring the UFC back to St. Louis, but it takes a whole team and a community to do that, So thank you for being part of that team.
Absolutely. I wish you the best of luck. And like I said, I'm going to continue to follow along. And if folks don't know, they need to look up Joaquin Buckley and check out that butt kick, because and some of the knockouts, I mean, it is unbelievable. So I wish you the best of luck, and I appreciate you taking some time this morning.
All right. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
There you go. There is Joaquin Numanza Buckley. He is an up-and-comer from St. Louis, making his way through MMA, and someday perhaps we will see him in City Park there and having a fight right there. That would actually be really, really cool. That would be a heck of a venue to do that in. Appreciate him taking some time. We have more to do here on Sports on a Sunday Morning as we continue from our Stifel Sports Studio here at Busch Stadium. I'm Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman. More to come here on KMOX.
Can you imagine being free again?
You're free again.
A songbird in a crystal sky.
A dolphin in the Caribbean.
A puppy exploring a big backyard.
You escaped the handcuffs of the junk that held you captive.
You escaped because you called 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Hey, it's Bo for Reinhold Electric. You know how you can tell Reinhold Electric is the right electrician for whatever your job is at your home or your business? Is because you see Reinhold trucks everywhere. They're on the roads, they're at the airports, they're at homes, they're at businesses. Heck, I was on my way to Minnesota about a month ago, and I saw Reinhold trucks in the middle of Iowa. If you need an electrician, call on Reinhold Electric. Their number is 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158 at ReinholdElectric.com.
For the first time since 2020, the third edition of the Karen's Cup. Beginning June 3rd, players will compete for a $180,000 prize fund. This tournament features 10 of the top female chess players in the world, including returning champion Hampi Koneru, along with top-rated American Irina Krush. It's one of the most decisive classical tournaments in chess that you won't want to miss. Catch all the action on the St. Louis Chess Club YouTube and Twitch channels.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Now, Y98 presents 90 and 60. A look back at the St. Louis City match against the Houston Dynamo. Presented by Ponce Health Sciences University, creating new pathways and careers in healthcare.
Facing a canary yellow clad Steve Clark with the right foot. Leuven! City leads! Vasilev runs over it. Leuven curls back, post six. A header across the face of the goal. Rosenberg is there! Knocks it home! City leads 2-0. Gioacchini from the spot. 83rd minute. His first penalty of the year. Gioacchini, yes, baby! It's a 3-0 City winner.
This has been 90 and 60, presented by Ponce Health Sciences University. Up next, St. Louis City takes on LA Galaxy this coming Sunday. Pre-game 11:30, kick at noon on Y98 St. Louis.
Aspiring to be a doctor? Didn't score well on the MCAT? Gain all the confidence you need to succeed at Ponce Health Sciences University. PHSU west of City Park on the corner of Jefferson and Market prepares students for every aspect of a medical career. A Master of Sciences in Medical Science degree and MSMS from Ponce prepares students for the coursework, the time commitment, and the rigor for a future in healthcare. Learn more at stlouis.psm.edu. That's stlouis.psm.edu.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Joe Potty in for Tom Ackerman here on this Sunday morning. It's Sports on a Sunday morning here from Busch Stadium. Cardinals and Reds getting ready for the final game of their 3-game series. That first pitch is set for 1:15 here at Busch Stadium. I am underneath. I cannot see out on the field. I assume the tarp is on the field. I know we've had some rain in the area. I don't know exactly what it is doing right this very minute, so we'll see about that. We will visit with the Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak. That comes up in our next segment at about 11:30. Want to talk a little Adam Wainwright right now because he'll make the start this afternoon up against the Reds, who, believe it or not, have not been a good opponent for Adam Wainwright. It seems sort of odd because in a lot of the years that Adam Wainwright has been playing, obviously in the major leagues, the Reds have not been great. But he has not been great against the Cincinnati Reds. It's one of those sort of interesting things, right? Sometimes those teams just kind of have your numbers. He's made 35 career starts against the Reds. He's made 40 appearances against the Reds, and he is just 11-17 with a .553 earned run average against the Cincinnati Reds. And he jokes all the time about how he does not appreciate or enjoy pitching at the Great American Ballpark because that has been even worse to him when he's pitching on the road in Cincinnati. He's already pitched there once this year, gave up 5 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings in a game earlier this season there, but got the win. So it wasn't the worst of things. He did get a win. The Cardinals got a win that night back on May 23rd. Adam Wainwright, when you look at some of the milestones that he is approaching, he's 3 wins away from 200 for his career. So that is certainly within reach. He's only made 6 starts this year. Of course, got off to the slow start after injuring himself during training during the World Baseball Classic. So he had a very late start to his season and has come back and made 6 starts. He's 2-1 right now with an ERA approaching 6 rather. And just looking at some of the categories that he appears in all time in Major League Baseball, his 197 wins is 5th. It is second it's behind a couple of guys currently pitching. Clayton Kershaw is a couple of wins in front of him. Max Scherzer is a couple of wins in front of him. Kershaw has 205. Scherzer has 206. Justin Verlander at the top of that list among active players at 246 wins, and Zach Greinke on there as well at 224 wins. So you have some guys that have been around for a long time. And again, that's your top 5 in active Major League wins. Now, as far as Cardinals all-time wins, his 197 wins is 3rd, behind Bob Gibson, who has 251. Jesse Haynes has 210. He's 2nd in strikeouts all-time. He is 4th in games, and he will be 3rd in games by the time the season finishes. I don't think he'll get to, I know he won't get to number 2. He'll get to number 3 because he's just 2 back of Bill Shirtle for number 3 all-time in games pitched as a St. Louis Cardinal. I mean, that's legitimate. That's a huge deal for a franchise like the Cardinals. He's also 3rd in games started on the mound. He's got 396 starts. He will maybe surpass Bob Forsch for the number 2 spot. It's likely, let's put it this way, if he stays healthy, he will. He is 6 behind Bob Forsch right now as far as passing him for number 2 on that spot, on that list, rather. So he's climbing all of these important categories. We know last year he joined Yadier Molina. They ended up making for their career 328 career starts together. Their 325th made them the all-time leader among a pitcher-catcher battery, I should say. And I can't imagine anybody from this point forward breaking that record. Mickey Lolich and Bill Freehan had that record for the Detroit Tigers, and number 3 on that list was Warren Spahn and Del Crandall. You're talking about guys that pitched 40, 50 years ago. I'm not sure that a pitcher and a catcher will last as long in one team. One player lasting as long as either an Adam Wainwright or a Yadier Molina lasted with one franchise is one thing. That's already a lost art. That is not happening anywhere. But to have 2 players and to have their careers be essentially parallel as Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright were, I just don't think you're going to see it again. I cannot imagine that you're going to see that again, at least not for a long time, until there's some sort of radical change to the free agent rules or to the way baseball is done. It's just not going to happen. And it was lucky that it happened in St. Louis, lucky for Cardinals fans that it happened in St. Louis, that these 2 guys, that at least one of them, probably in Yadier Molina, will be a National Baseball Hall of Famer. You know they're both going to be wearing red jackets as Cardinals Hall of Famers. But to have that long of a career and to have those 2 careers almost mirror one another, Yadier Molina, I believe, made his debut in 2003, certainly was there in 2004 as the full-time catcher. Adam Wainwright made his debut in 2005. And of course, 2006 was when he really came on the stage, taking over for Jason Isringhausen as the closer and being the important piece to the World Series win in 2006, closing out the postseason series that he did, including the National League Championship Series in New York and the World Series here at home against Detroit. But those guys, other than that, basically were one and the same as far as their career. Molina obviously hung it up after last year. Adam Wainwright has said this will be his last year. So their careers were so closely matched in as far as years go that really set up for sort of the ideal situation to break a record like that. And it was cool to see that last year for Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright. So Wainwright goes today. Also a really cool bobblehead. If you're coming out to the ballpark, they're giving away a bobblehead that is a Waino bobblehead, but it is also commemorating the London series, which is to come here later in the month. So it is Adam Wainwright in the full London Guard uniforms. So that's going to be kind of a cool bobblehead to see as well. In fact, I literally just got a text from somebody as I was saying that is in the park, that has picked up his bobblehead, and it is very cool. It is even in a very cool giveaway box. So it looks like the London phone booths on the outside of the giveaway box. So a very cool giveaway today, commemorating Adam Wainwright, recognizing the London series, and that's very, very cool. So Adam Wainwright on the mound today against the Reds. He'll go up against the youngster Hunter Green for the Cincinnati Reds. All of that, more of that to come when we get into our pregame show. That happens next hour. We'll get started about 12:20, and we'll get you all set up for the final game of this 3-game series. We already passed along the lineup when Oliver Marmol was here, but I'll tell you again, it is Donovan at first base today. Goldschmidt is the DH. Then it's Nolan Gorman, Nolan Arenado, Wilson Contreras, Dylan Carlson in right, Walker in left, DeYoung, and Edman back in center field for the Redbirds today. Boy, did he play a good center field yesterday. He made just some fantastic plays in center field. And as the Cardinals manager told us, he is someone who works so hard, no matter where he's at on the field. But, man, he looked like a tried and true veteran center fielder yesterday for sure. We'll take a break here. We'll continue the baseball talk when we come back. The Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, joins us next. It's Sports on a Sunday Morning from Busch Stadium. I'm Joe Pott. This is KMOX.
Happy birthday to you.
As the familiar tune fills the air, joy radiates along with the heat of flickering flames. You make a wish for another year surrounded by the ones you love. With each passing year, the compassionate team at Prairie Cardiovascular will be by your side with heart care that allows you to focus on what matters most. A life well lived. Prairie Cardiovascular, here with you.
Carol Daniel for Chesterfield Fence and Deck. I have learned over the years as a homeowner that's not always the best idea to work with a company that uses a lot of subcontractors, that outsources a lot of their work. Chesterfield Fence and Deck has all of their own equipment, their own tools, their own trucks, their own professionally trained installation crews. They even operate out of their own warehouse, and they have a large showroom as well. There's a reason they say Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, because you do get the very best in knowledgeable project consultants, the very best design. You'll get a free in-home estimate and no obligation, and a free project design. Visit with them, set up your next project, your pergola, your cedar deck, your bronze aluminum fence, and you will get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. 636-532-4054 or online at ChesterfieldFence.com.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
McKelvey Homes was founded in 1898. This year, we are celebrating our 125th anniversary by giving $12,500 of free options on all homes sold through the end of June. And we will also make a donation of $1,898 to the Independence Center for every home sold. Visit McKelveyHomes.com for our current locations and to learn more information about McKelvey Homes. That's McKelveyHomes.com.
Internationally acclaimed vocalists, the Ambassadors of Harmony, invite you to Acapella Magic. One night only, June 17th at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Call the box office 314-516-4949 or online at aoh.org.
I feel like I should call him.
Why would you call him now? Everything's working beautifully.
Jerry Kelly is St. Louis's favorite heating and cooling company. Mine too. They make me happy and comfortable every day. That deserves a phone call once in a while.
Jerry Kelly's your favorite because they're fast.
They're my favorite because they got it going on.
Nope. They're our favorite because they're good. Since they fixed it, it has stayed fixed.
I still feel like I should call.
Why don't you just visit
JerryKelly.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, it's Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman here on Sports on a Sunday morning. The Stifel Sports Studio is Busch Stadium this morning as we get ready for the Reds and the Cardinals. They'll finish up this 3-game series here at Busch Stadium today. First pitch is at 1:15. As we continue the baseball talk, we welcome in the Cardinals president of baseball operations. He is John Mozeliak. And as always, Mo, thanks for some time here on this Sunday morning.
Morning, Joe. How are you?
I am well. I would be more well, or better, I should say, if I knew that tarp was coming off the field today.
Yeah, quick update on that. Our fingers are crossed that we're going to be able to go on time. Obviously, we're going to just sort of wait and see how the next 45 minutes to an hour unfolds. But we definitely think we're going to have an opportunity to play, and hopefully we're on time. So fingers crossed.
Well, that is certainly good news. So had a chance to visit with Oliver Marmol today, and I was talking about, I kind of flashed back to a couple of weeks back. It was a Sunday. Detroit was in town, and it was, Detroit had a huge inning, and the Cardinals answer back. They have a big inning. They come away with that win, and that sort of propels this team into that stretch where they won, I think it was 15 of 19 games. Today certainly could be that. You have a Sunday in front of you where you have a series win in front of you, and this could be another jumping off point. To Oliver Marmol's credit, he said, we're still in it. The division's not very good, but it's time that we start putting up some results. I imagine that's the way you feel as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, anytime we answer for the last 10 weeks of this season, it's people are tired of hearing excuses or reasons why. I mean, ultimately, at this level in this business, the report card's pretty simple. You're either winning or you're losing. And, we just haven't found that right combination to get it going consistently. And, obviously I was really excited about Wednesday night's win. I thought that could be a game that could help spur some future success, and then obviously winning on Friday. And then, yesterday, again, a little disappointing. Fell behind early, and it just felt like that that hole was so deep it's going to be hard to dig out of. And this team does have talent, but people are tired of hearing about that. They want to see us start to win, and so finding that consistency on an everyday basis is what Ollie and his staff are working towards and trying to find, as well as all of us in the front office. So hopefully today we can have a nice game and use it as a building block moving forward.
Is that the most frustrating part, that it's not maybe just one thing that's kind of been bad, that sometimes it's starting pitching has a bad couple of games. Sometimes you're not getting the big hits. You're not driving in runners with scoring position. Is it the inconsistency that is the most frustrating?
For sure. I mean, like I think whenever you're experiencing a difficult stretch or a losing period, it tends to be that way. Very rarely is it just one thing, because if it is just one thing, you can almost surely address it to some level. But when it's just multiple facets of how you're playing, that becomes really challenging. And I think even from like the coaching standpoint, that's where they're kind of butting their heads up against the wall because of that frustration. And, it's one of those reminders where when you're going through something like this, you have to remain optimistic, you have to remain positive, but you also have to be, very intentional or very purposeful in how you go about your day. And when things aren't going right, it's harder to do all of that. But that is the current demand on our coaches to try to maintain that purpose each day on what to do, what individuals need to do, and collectively you hope it all comes together.
That is the whole, sometimes the outcome doesn't define the process, right? It's hard to trust the process when you're not seeing those results. But I know that you and your staff and Oliver and his staff do trust that process, and it's a matter of, as you said, kind of keeping in line and keeping things moving in that direction.
Well, that's what you hope for. And, it's obviously easier said than done because you have a lot of dynamics that might be pulling away from that. But that's the task at hand, and that's really what we're going to try to do. And hopefully that we see positive results in the win-loss column.
Speaking of positive results, at least individually, you have Jordan Walker back up in the big leagues, and someone else that I spoke with Oliver about that. Here is a player that came up with much fanfare at the beginning of the year, was sent back down, and it, I'm sure that it could have been taken in a poor direction, in his mind, but he went there, worked on the things that you specifically asked him to work on while he was in Memphis. He's come back up and he's having success here in this, first week back in the big leagues.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting, right? Because you look at yesterday's game and, it's going to show up that he hit a double, but, he really hit 4 balls on the nose,
right?
About as hard as humanly possible. And unfortunately just at people, but he is a special player, meaning he's obviously got a very unique elite type skill set, but he's also like a good young man. And, no one likes to be told they're being optioned. Nobody likes to be told they have to go work on things. But he went about it great. And, I think maybe the biggest frustration for him was just lack of success at Memphis, really. And then, I think, part of that was just his name brand, meaning when I was talking to the manager down there, Ben Johnson, he was just saying, look, he's getting pitched tough because of who he is. And so trying to work on things, but also have some game success can be very challenging. And so I think he just decided to take a deep breath, relax at the plate. And I think, all of us are now seeing the benefits of that because, he is putting good swings on the ball. He's definitely, working on trying to elevate a little bit. And, all in all, I think you'd have to say he's been very impressive in his return.
Without question. Sticking with that same subject matter, can you tell me any other prospects that you're still, that you're on, that you're watching, that are really improving? Has Mason Wynn been hitting the ball well? I know obviously Luken Baker is up here with the big league team now. Tink Hence continues to pitch well for you. Who are you currently watching very closely?
Well, great question. And, you mentioned a few that I think have become a little bit more household names in the sense of Mason Wynn and Tink Hence. And, both those guys are trending in nice directions. And what I mean really by that is, Tink's got a pitch. And so now he's finally getting an opportunity to take the ball every 5th day. And the last 2 outings, he's gone 5 innings. So we're really excited about him being able to build up. You mentioned Mason Wynn, obviously a 21-year-old shortstop at Memphis. And, I think the big thing to pay attention to him is just where is he going offensively? From a defensive standpoint, he's athletic. He's a fast twitch guy. So now it's just about, getting reps and playing every day. And so maybe to touch on a few names that aren't something that we always talk about, even though Ivan Herrera, we have to say something about just because he's having just an outstanding season down at Memphis. And it's not just that he's putting up close to a 950 OPS, but he's also really improved his defense. So super excited at what we're seeing out of him. I think McGreevy has thrown the ball really well for Memphis. And then you have, younger guys like Hanson and Motts who are throwing the ball really well from the left side at low A. And then even like Victor Scott playing really well at Peoria, and really happy about that. And Cho, who, is a player we signed as an amateur out of South Korea. He's swinging the bat really well at our Palm Beach club. So, overall, I feel like a lot of the young players that are starting to sort of emerge, if you will, and they're not just those household names, is something that's been really fun to watch. And so there's more I could have touched on, but I don't want to bore you, but it's certainly an exciting group coming.
Just to follow up on Tink Hence, I was looking at it yesterday. I was talking about it on the pregame show, as a matter of fact. And the thing that surprised me is the numbers were so good, but he had not yet thrown a quality start. And I think that's what you touched on, just saying that he needs to build up and continue to pitch and be able to get you deeper in games, I imagine.
Yeah, I think like yesterday, he could easily have done what you just said, gotten a quality start, meaning he went 5 innings. It was at 60 pitches. So that's really efficient, right? I think he's a total of 59, actually. My point there is, we're just trying to walk that fine line of build up, but grow, right? And not have him have a setback with something physical. So yesterday's line, even though it was only 5 innings, was still really impressive. And, the guy has just effortless velocity, meaning it comes out easy. And now it's just about gaining experience and getting that build up. And right now, we're very encouraged about where he's at.
Switching gears from the young players to the grizzled vet of the group, and that is Adam Wainwright, who will pitch for you today. And I was talking in the last segment about all of the places that he ranks when it comes to active major league pitchers, and certainly all the places he ranks in the top 3, 4, 5, and all of the Cardinals all-time leaders. But here's a guy that is finishing up his final season in a Cardinals uniform, that has spent his entire career in a Cardinals uniform. And I know that the success hasn't quite been there yet for him, but I imagine that for you, it's still enjoyable to watch number 50 take the mound and take the field for the Cardinals.
Absolutely. You know what I'd say, and I hope like fans can resonate with this, because I think like the most fascinating thing to watch about Adam Wainwright is how he does have success with, arguably marginal stuff. His fastball is well below 90 miles an hour. He can still spin it, so we need to give him credit for the curveball. But you think about like all the other guys that we roll out there that have like just unbelievable stuff, yet they don't have the same type of success. And that's the part of having a pitcher with his grit, his guile, his ability to read swings and know what to do and how to pitch to hitters. And if I were a young pitcher, I would watch and study and really try to emulate some of the things he does, because he's getting by with an 87, 88 mile an hour fastball and he's making it work. Whereas other people are, pumping in mid to upper 90s and not finding it working for them. And so the ability to control the strike zone, manage the strike zone is one of his greatest strengths. And I wish others would really follow that, because that allows you to be efficient and it's successful.
It is truly a masterclass in pitching and not just throwing, which is what we see so much of today. And it's a pitcher that when you look back even 4 or 5 years ago, that's really even kind of reinvented himself. I mean, he fully admitted that he thought that he was going to be finished with baseball, a couple of years ago. And here he is not cruising, but gaining on 200 wins almost.
Let's just say it this way. Yeah, it's not cruising, but he's competing. And, and the thing about that is it's important to appreciate that, because even though he's 42, even though he's, doing it maybe with smoke and mirrors relative to what you see in this league, but he's given our team a chance to win. And I do appreciate that.
Well, John, we appreciate you taking time on Sunday mornings, as you do almost every week here, usually with Tom Ackerman, but oftentimes with myself as well. And we look forward to a mostly dry afternoon at the ballpark and a hopeful series win today against the Reds.
That sounds great. Fingers crossed, and have a great weekend, Joe.
I appreciate it. That is John Mozeliak, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, here with us on Sports on a Sunday morning from Busch Stadium. We'll finish things up on this episode when we come back here to Busch after this on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Get ready to celebrate KMOX Day at the ballpark, returning to Busch Stadium Wednesday, August 30th. With a purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will take home an exclusive KMOX Cardinals stein, celebrating the all-time great That's a Winner Jack Buck call.
The winner! A World Series winner for the Cardinals!
Only fans that present their theme ticket at the distribution will be eligible to receive the item. Exchanges will not be available at distribution. KMOX Day at the ballpark, Wednesday, August 30th. Get your tickets now.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. At Under Law, we know you have questions after an injury. Do I need a lawyer? What's my case worth? How long will it take? At Underlaw, your experience begins the minute you pick up the phone. Our intake team will listen to your situation and get you to the right attorney. So when you have questions about a car crash, a work-related injury, or a life-changing accident, Underlaw has the team that's right for you.
Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com for more information.
For the first time since 2020, the third edition of the Karen's Cup. Beginning June 3rd, players will compete for a $180,000 prize fund. This tournament features 10 of the top female chess players in the world, including returning champion Humpy Koneru, along with top-rated American Irina Krush. It's one of the most decisive classical tournaments in chess that you won't want to miss. Catch all the action on the St. Louis Chess Club YouTube and Twitch channels.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
It's Joe Pott in for Tom Ackerman at the Stifel Sports Studio here at Busch Stadium today, finishing things up on this Sports on a Sunday morning. Glad you are with us. Glad, thanks to all of our guests here today. We kind of ran the gambit a little bit as far as sports goes. And the folks we talked to, we had a chance to visit with the guys earlier in the show. Jake Koenig and Justin Graham of the Ball Watching podcast, talking a lot about St. Louis City. Of course, as always, we visited with the Cardinals manager, Oliver Marmol. We just heard from the Cards president of baseball operation, John Mozeliak. And we talked to Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin Numanza Buckley. He is an up-and-comer in the MMA world. He is from St. Louis. He's having some success. He's looking forward to more success and all of that. You can hear all of those interviews on the website, KMOX.com. It'll be under the Sports on a Sunday Morning tab. It is also probably a lot of it going to be pushed out on social media here before you know it. So tune in, hear all that. We also talked to the former Cards catcher, Gary Bennett. I chatted with him yesterday at Cardinals Nation Restaurant before the Cards-Reds game yesterday. Speaking of yesterday, one of those games that really turned on a play, and Oliver Marmol mentioned it himself before I even brought it up. The play yesterday in the second inning, Stuart Fairchild hitting. He had a little hit out to third. Nolan Arenado took a half step back, fielded it, and then when he threw, it was late. And it became an infield base hit. It loaded the bases, and a double from Luke Malley cleared the bases, and that gave Cincinnati a 3-0 lead. In the inning before, the Cardinals had loaded the bases. They had 2 on with 1 out. They had the bases loaded with 2 outs. Paul DeJong smoked a ball, hit it to the warning track and right, but it was an out, and they left 3 on base. So as Oliver Marmol said, in 1 inning and 1/2 inning, the Cards leave 3 on. The next half inning, Cincinnati scores all 3, and that was the game. And that's certainly what changed the game. What was really good about yesterday's game was some of the plays we saw in center field from Tommy Edman. So I want to let you hear some of those. It started early in the first inning with Michaelis on the mound. 1 out, Matt McLain is at the plate to face Michaelis.
The pitch, a swing and a miss on 3 pitches. Cruz strikes out for the 4th time in this series. He's 1 for 5.
So, and it didn't end there. He had a couple of really good plays yesterday. The next one comes up in the 5th. It is a 5-0 game at this point. This is the start of the 5th inning. Stuart Fairchild at the plate again. He leads off the fourth, I should say. He leads off the 4th inning.
couldn't get Fairchild at first base. It would have been the third out of the inning. That ball's hit sharply to left center field. Tommy Edman on the move again. He reaches up and makes another play in deep left center field. He has great closing speed, and he takes a double away from Fairchild, maybe more than that.
2 balls there in the early part of the game in which he had to go back. He had to head for the warning track, so he went back, cutting off the gap. The ball that McLean hit in the first, the ball that Fairchild hit in the fourth. Then really showing off his range. This is the 5th inning. 2 outs in the inning. There's a runner at third base. Will Benson is the hitter.
This is game number 22 with the Reds. 1 for 2 today, and there's a fly ball center field. Here comes Tommy Edman, a dive. He makes the catch. Edman is putting on a show in center field today. Benson is out, leaving De La Cruz at third. Let's see if that gives the Cardinal offense a boost.
Seriously, he was absolutely putting on a show. They talked to Miles Michaelis. Somebody, if you heard Michaelis yesterday on our postgame show, the Bally Sports Midwest audio, he was asked a couple times about his pitching. He really did not have a ton to say about his pitching, only just to say that it wasn't a good day for him. He didn't have his normal stuff. It just wasn't a good day. But they asked him about Tommy Edman and playing defense, Edman's defense behind him, and he went on to talk about it. He talked about it for most of his interview. We did not have a lot from him, and most of it was him talking about having Tommy Edman behind him, what it means to have a guy like that who is not a natural center fielder, obviously. He's more of an infielder, and he looks like he's been playing the position for years. That's what he said, and he's talked about how hard he works each and every day, and that's something that Ollie Marmol echoed as well this morning, just talking about the work ethic of Tommy Edman, and it's not an accident that he makes some of the plays that he does in center field. I marvel at it, and I think the diving play in the 5th inning was the best of the 3. In my opinion, it's one thing to track a ball back and a deep ball at that onto the warning track. It's another thing, a ball dying off the bat as the one did that Will Benson hit, and for him to be able to come in and just make an absolutely athletic play, diving to make that catch. In fact, if you ask Jordan Walker about how tough that play is, there was a play in the 3rd inning that Matt McLean hit a ball out to left field. Jordan Walker made a play coming in, and he tried to make the sliding catch coming in. It got under him. It went to the wall for a triple, and that was another thing that came up after the game. Jordan Walker is still learning how to play the outfield. He is also an infielder, but understand that him trying to make a play on a ball coming in that he didn't make, it got under him. In the same game, Tommy Edman makes a play on a ball coming in, making a diving catch, and that's the difference between the veteran in Tommy Edman. And I'm not saying he hasn't played outfield, because he has, and he's had to play outfield for this team in the past, but that just gives you an idea of, I think, what kind of difficulty it was making the play coming in. That's why I was as impressed or more impressed with Tommy Edman coming in on that ball that was hit off the bat of Will Benson in the 5th inning than even those ones going back. They were all great catches, though, and he is just playing outstanding defensive baseball out there in left field. So we are a little bit away from Cardinals baseball here on a Sunday afternoon. If you heard John Mozeliak, he said that they do believe this one is going to start on time. That's not to say that there won't be a delay of some sort if there is some more rain. I am looking now at some of the stuff going on at Busch Stadium, looking at the monitors here that give us an idea of what's happening out in the stadium. It is dry. Folks are walking around and enjoying everything that is to enjoy here pregame at Busch Stadium. And right now, like I said, there is no rain. So hopefully there is a big enough window that we'll get some baseball in for you today. It's a perfect day for the Cards to get a series win and then perhaps get on a little bit of a roll, because they certainly need to get on a little bit of a roll. Even Oliver Marmol said so today, just said that it's time to, as not good as this division is, it's time to start getting some results. And I think that's the most frustrating part, is that this team has not gotten the results that they expect them to have. And John Mozeliak was talking about that. It's not just, there's not one thing that you can kind of go about fixing. It is several things that have gone wrong, or it's several things that go wrong on a game-by-game basis that lead to the downfall. And that's what's happened to this team here more often than not. If they pitch well, they're not hitting, they're not getting the clutch yet. When they score a lot of runs, they give up a lot of runs. And those are the things that have been hurting them so far this year. Amarin Total Access comes up at 12:20. We'll have a little bit more after the news before the start of the pregame show to get you prepped for Cardinals baseball today. Cards and Reds coming up here from Busch Stadium. Thanks to my guests here all morning. Thanks so much to Drew Young, doing a great job for us in studio and producing for us all week. I'm Joe Pott. It's been Sports on a Sunday morning here on KMOX.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for